Thank you for joining us in another episode of Film and Frequencies. We are your hosts, Blake and Steve, and this week we are reviewing Primer. Released in 2004, Primer is an independent science fiction film about the accidental discovery of time travel. The film was written, directed, produced, edited, scored by Shane Carruth. The budget for this film was $7,000 and it grossed almost $1 million in the box office.
Shane killed it with this first one, man.
The film stars two engineers, Aaron, played by Shane, and Abe, played by David Sullivan. And it's about them accidentally building a time travel device and the consequences they suffer. So Blake, if you want to just jump right into it, what did you think of the film?
So for this movie, since it's time traveling, we can always go back. I kind of want to go to the end.
Let's go.
So this movie, the first time I watched it, I really did not understand it at all. Like I understood it was about time travel and I understood why the consequences and them going back, but I didn't understand the depth of which things were happening. And I watched this video from London City Girl on YouTube, and I read a comment, and the first comment was, I didn't understand the movie. Now I watched this video, and now I understand why I didn't understand the movie. and that perfectly summed up how I was feeling. I was like, yeah, I didn't understand it. Now I watch this video, and now I understand why I didn't understand it. And the research I did for this movie was so way different than how I normally prep, because I really research like the science, like what were they using? What were they trying to achieve with their invention? What were they inventing in first? And then what laws of science did they break and discover to get them to time travel? And that's where I really went with my research. So overall, I got to say I enjoyed the movie, but I enjoyed the back end a lot more and really discovering how intelligent Shane is. You know, Shane is also a software engineer himself. And you could just see it in the movie. He really stays to not breaking those themes of science and really wanted a grounded time travel movie. And grounded as in like, they didn't build a big old spaceship or a big old teleporter, and all of a sudden, like, the abyss comes up. He kept it very grounded, like, oh, I could do this in my garage potentially. And I feel like this movie had some people in their garage like, dude, let's fuck around and find out. People taking apart their cars and stuff like that. Like, dude, can we use it? Can we use that catalytic converter? Now it makes sense why everybody's stealing them, dude. They're all trying to make time travel. Dude, it makes so much sense now, dude. Everybody's trying to try time. If I see my catalytic converter missing, I'm like, hold on, there might be a fucking machine out there. We got to be careful.
So you first watched the movie. Why was it confusing to you the first time you watched it?
I'm going to be honest, the sound quality.
Yes.
That's why I was missing it. I remember I texted you like 20 minutes into the movie, and the movie technically went nowhere in 20 minutes.
Yes.
So I'm like, dude, I can't hear anybody. I can't understand what's going on. Where are we going? And then right when they're sitting in the field outside of the U-Haul place and you see the second body, I was like, I know exactly what's happening. Things started to piece together. I was like, they're time traveling. Things are happening. Things are going to happen fast. And right when they started playing the stocks, I was like, that's me. That's me. Right when they started sports betting, I'm like, that's me. I am going for a buck, dude. I'm telling nobody, and I'm getting my bank up, dude.
So that's why I like this film, because the first time I saw it too, this was years ago when I saw it. The sound quality was so bad, and I was like, what is this? I had the same feelings that you did in the very beginning. I'm like, I don't understand this film. Why do people like this film? But let me stick it out.
Yeah.
And the more I stuck it out, we get that twist when you see Abe. I was like, wow, okay, where is this going? And then I like the fact how the story develops with Abe taking him to each scientist, figuring out exactly what's going on, and then leading us to the discovery of, they can travel back in time 6 hours in the past.
Yeah. Well, we learned that you can actually time travel as far back as you want, as long as you start the machine. So the movie.
Oh yeah, you're right. As long as you have that machine started, then you can travel back to the point of where the machine is.
Yeah, what I like about it is, like I said, it's so realistic how a human would do this. Like a human would immediately doubt everything. So what does Abe do? Abe's like, look, I'm not bullshitting you. Let me show you how I got here. He walks Adam through it like, hey, talk to this guy. Now talk to this guy. Because I feel like if I showed you time travel, you'd be like, shut up, dude. Shut up. And I'm like, look, man, I'm not bullshitting. This works. And I would take you through the same process. And first thing you do is like, let's go make some money. Would you not?
Let's go make some money and then let's go beat up people.
I'm going to punch that dude.
I'm going to punch that guy in the face.
Hey, dude, I might hit a couple of people. I'm not going to lie to you. Like,
So leading up to the film, that was the turning point when you see the second Abe and you're starting to get on board with the movie.
Hooked. Yeah.
Okay. And then was it confusing to you the way it's chopped up and how the story starts progressing towards the end?
The quick answer is yes. I saw how it ended. When they were arguing in the airport, I'm like, what are y'all arguing about? Y'all created time travel. Y'all are making money. This is a no-brainer. We do this for 6 months and then we just stop. Or fuck it. I'm selling it. I'm going straight to the military. Like, we've never time traveled before. Like, I don't know how we did this. You know, we haven't even tested it yet, but I think we invented time travel. I'd play so dumb. That's why the movie did, like, I was grabbed in the concept of the time travel, like I said, the science behind it, but the story, I was reading through a lot of articles and it said Shane wanted it like that. He wanted it dense. He wanted people to watch it over and over and over again and come up with a new theory. And I thought that was genius in Shane. Could they spend a little money on audio equipment? Maybe. But I mean, I don't have that kind of money. So I feel you, Shane. I feel you, bro.
I actually so the first time I watched it, right, I was struggling with the audio, some of the visuals. I was like, oh, this is it's hard for me to follow the choppiness of it.
Well, we watched it on bootleg, like on a bootleg. I was like, dude, this fucking site sucks. So I found it again.
Yeah.
Same story.
It's the same thing. Exactly.
Yeah, like, it is shit.
It's an independent film.
Yeah, it is shit.
But the storyline is so good and so captivating.
Yeah.
And I think it matches the aesthetics because once they start time traveling, they start confusing themselves. Stuff starts happening that's out of their control. Yeah. And they don't understand what's going on. So I kind of think that the voiceovers, people talking over each other, I loved all that. Like, I think it makes the whole film better after you watch it again and again.
Yeah, I started feeling that way too. You know, you start seeing the ruggedness of it, and you're like, oh, like I said, just makes it feel so real. It's not this clean storyline, this clean conversation. In a normal conversation with 5 guys, people are talking over each other. It just makes it feel like you can go do this. And I thought that was great, man. I thought that was great.
How did you feel about the characters like Abe and Aaron? Abe's the guy in blonde hair, and then Aaron's the one in the brown hair.
So honestly, I feel like I connected a lot to Abe. Abe, you know, just being the one kind of pushing the boundaries and really understanding like what they created. I feel like that'd be me. And I feel like Abe is the one that I felt like was thinking rational the whole time. There's a lot of consequences to what we're doing. And I don't think Aaron. I think Aaron saw the consequences, and we could talk about why I think he already saw the consequences. Because like I said, that London City Girl breakdown helped me so. Did you watch one?
Yeah, I've seen that.
You watched it?
Yeah, where it's Aaron 0, Aaron 1, Aaron 2, Aaron 3, all the way to 6.
Yeah, so once I started understanding, Aaron did understand, and he was trying to fix it, but I felt like Abe was trying to do it. I don't want to say he was trying to do it smart. He was trying to do it safe, and he just wanted to make a bit of money. Adam, on the other hand, was like,
Aaron.
God, why do I keep doing that?
I don't know. It should have been Adam. I think Adam's a better sci-fi name.
What is it? Aaron. I think Aaron saw what he was doing, and instead of trying to play the game, he wanted the power, the hungriness of power. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. That's why I like this film, not only because of the just time travel concept, but also because of the characters. So you have Abe. He's more selflessness. He understands the consequences. Even at the end of the movie, he's willing to give up his entire life just to make sure that the original Abe and the original or the next versions of Abe and Aaron don't create a time machine. So he's willing to sacrifice his entire life just to sabotage that this doesn't happen.
Right.
And Aaron, I love Aaron's character because he's real selfish. Even in the beginning of the film, you start to see his attitude towards his own friends. Yeah. His own friends that they're all four of them are trying to attempt to build a business. They're trying to build something, right? And I thought they were trying to build a battery, but they're trying to build something in their garage. And once they figure out that they've discovered upon time travel, or they have something that's going on, Aaron was quick to let go of the other two guys. He was like, "Hey, let's not tell them.
Hey, we could cut them out.
Yeah, we can buy him out. I'll give him my car, my house. I'll give him whatever." Yeah. And I was like, "Wow, that's kind of that has real like that. I could see that really happening in real life, where you have one entrepreneur who's willing to be more cutthroat, even amongst his own friends, and then you have the other guy who's more passive, more cautious, more humble, and willing to kind of keep everyone in line."
Yeah. So what they were trying to invent is something to reduce weight. And they thought they could use it in a military application for different things, reducing weight. And they came up with time travel. So I thought that was kind of fascinating. I'm not sure if I would spend my whole life trying to reduce weight. I mean, I guess I'm doing it now, going to the gym and stuff. So actually, redact what I just said. I am working on reducing weight. You know what? We need to hit the garage, dude. I think what I liked about Abe is Abe was so grounded. And like you said, the selfishness of Aaron, just you saw the polarizing effects of success, I would say. Like you saw it. And you saw the dilemmas, you saw the hangups and stuff. And like you said, Abe was ready to give it all up, But I think Aaron makes a good point. He's just like, we're going to invent it regardless. We're going to get to this conclusion every single time. If you are you and I am me, we're going to get there. And I think that's true. I think humans have this thing where, you're going to go do something. It's kind of fate. That's going to happen. I never thought we were going to make a podcast, but now I feel like it's fate. Like it was supposed to happen, dude. We're here.
And I'm supposed to backstab you. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, I did see a lot of ourselves. I saw a lot of ourselves in this movie too. Like the second time I watched it, I'm like, wow, that's kind of exactly what me and Blake are attempting to do, right? We're trying to start something from scratch, and there may be consequences if this podcast becomes very successful, right?
Yeah, Moonlight would have done that for us. Yeah, for sure.
And then I always use this movie like as a cautionary tale. If we have too much power, too much money, too much fame, or whatever, always stay humble, right? Don't remember your friends. There's more meaning to life than just getting just looking out for yourself.
Yeah, getting back to like the film and the aesthetics of it, the way Shane shot it, or I should say Aaron in the film, Shane, he said he wanted that overexposure, that bright light, because he wanted to show like it's not clear, everything's just way too much. And I thought they did a good job of that.
So you mentioned you saw the movie started clicking with you when you saw the second Abe coming out of the storage unit, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel when you saw that?
I didn't know that's where the movie was going. But once they started getting into that was what was happening and how the timeline started breaking immediately. Because what I've learned in the film, watching the film, right when you see that part, you basically see the timeline already broken. So what I want to talk about is how Aaron already messed up the timeline from the get-go.
M. Night Shyamalan is that twist?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That
the biggest twist in the movie is that the very first time Abe sees Aaron, that's not the original Aaron. That's him in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like how Shane did that. From the get-go, the viewer's being deceived. Abe is being deceived. Everybody's in for the catch. Aaron's roping everybody in, and I thought that was the coolest piece of writing. So the way the box works is you turn it on, and you set the point. When that box is turned on, that's the point you're going to go back to. Unbeknown to Abe, Aaron has discovered a failsafe that Abe created. So what does Aaron do? What any selfish person would do. Creates his own timeline, starts writing his own narrative for the future. And we learn in the movie the reason why that they're trying to change the past is because of a party scene. And that's something I didn't understand. Why was that party so significant? I never understood that. Do you understand why?
Yeah. So in the original timeline, well, now you make a good point. This might not even be the original timeline, but the way the movie plays out, an ex-boyfriend of one of their friends comes to a party with a shotgun.
Hold on. Let me. Okay. So the woman, the ex of the crazy boyfriend,
right,
is talking to Abe now.
Is talking to Abe, correct.
So
is talking to Abe, and then he gets there, he has jealousy issues,
right.
And he goes to the party and he brings a shotgun and it essentially scares everybody.
Right.
So in that moment, that might not even be the original timeline, because you find out that Aaron disarms him, right?
Right. He was successful the first time.
But that might not be the first time.
That isn't the first time.
So she could have originally been killed. Right. We don't know.
But that's kind of what threw me for a loop is they kept going back to fix this scenario. And I was like, well, and you see Abe and Aaron's friends come into the garage and like, the boyfriend showed up and Aaron took care of it. So that's when Abe was like,
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And this is when it starts clicking for Abe. Something's off.
Mm-hmm.
Something is off.
Yep.
But now that I'm sitting here conversating about it, what if Abe and Aaron didn't know the timeline or what timeline they're in because of their partner, the secret partner?
Yep.
Jumped and changed that timeline.
It could have been.
Huh.
Because that partner, so apparently, I think his name is Gene or Green. That's actually Rachel's dad.
Right.
And
Rachel is the one that's crushing on Abe.
Exactly. And that's the one that was her ex-boyfriend goes to the party with a shotgun.
Right.
So and I love this about the film. Something happens because while they're driving, they see that the dad had a beard on him, mm-hmm. and he's a duplicate. So someone told him, or something happened. The way I interpret it is, I think Aaron told the dad, this is what happened in the past, and it could have been months from now or something.
Right.
And the dad decides to travel back in time in order to try to stop it as well, or intervene, or something happens.
Yeah, so maybe something happens to Rachel, and the dad is now jumping back.
Trying to save her, or trying to do something.
Yeah, so this might be the dad from 6 months from now.
Exactly.
Because they confirmed this by the phone call his dad picks up, and they're like, okay, that guy behind us is not him. Okay.
That's the way I interpret it.
The movie's starting to click a little more now.
Yeah.
The movie's starting to click a little more for me.
Yeah.
Because maybe I am a little more. I'm still a little confused, man.
Well,
I watched
again,
that
I could
movie
be wrong.
3 times.
I could be completely wrong. It's just how the first time and the second time I interpret it. Because
mm-hmm.
time travel, we can have someone from 50 years just show up right now, right?
I hope not.
Because it's just relevant. It's just they can come at any time.
Yeah.
So the way I saw it is the dad came. He could have came, I thought he came months from now. Even with Aaron, interfering at the party, that could have been an infinite amount of Aarons. You just go back constantly and then try to redo it.
Yeah.
And that's the way I took it. I don't even see 6 time travels. I see an infinite amount of time that Aaron was trying to go back and change things. And the reason I say that is because in the movie, Aaron even says he starts to memorize
the lines.
He starts to memorize people, and
he's writing it all down.
He's writing it all down, recording it. And that's the way I interpret it. But you're absolutely right. Something happened at that party, and that's where everything starts to kind of unfold.
And yeah, that's where the fabric breaks. Like I said, I thought it was crazy where even telling him about time travel, you see Abe on the roof, right? And he's looking at Aaron on the bench. Aaron already time traveled, man. So right when the concept of time travel was introduced, just know that is never the original Aaron again. You never meet the original Aaron again, which I think is crazy. That dude's just stuffed in the
attic.
Yeah. Dude, like, how crazy is that? Just stuffing yourself in the attic? Like,
I actually love that too because Aaron goes back, drugs himself, stashes himself up top.
yeah.
And then further down the movie, when he comes back again, he gets in a fight with himself and it ends up in a tie. Like, they don't even, he doesn't beat him.
How do you beat yourself? You know?
Exactly. I love that. And basically,
Dude, how crazy that fight would look? You fighting yourself?
you fight yourself and
You'll
then
punch like this. Gah! Gah! Over and over again. You're like, stop reading me, you know?
And the reason I like that too, because if my future self came back to try to fight me, I'd be like, hey, let's talk it out.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
Your future self would start doing the conflict resolution. We should talk.
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking to yourself and you start scheming together, and then they come up with the plan that, okay, I'm gonna leave and I'll let you take my place. And we find out at the end of the movie, this is the part that I got from that London review, but we find out in that part of the movie that the one that leaves ends up going either to France or overseas and building it again.
Crazy.
And it's just like you mentioned earlier. This is why this film is so good. You mentioned it earlier. It's almost fate that they're going to rebuild it. So Abe's actually wasting his time because he doesn't know that there's another Aaron
Exactly.
that's already building.
Well, I think we learned that it's fate by the dad coming back. Time travel is going to happen.
That dad could have came back in the other
Exactly.
with the Aaron number 2.
Time travel was going to happen.
Yeah.
So what timeline are they really interfering with?
That's right. You don't know.
You don't know.
That's deep.
You don't know which one. I kind of started going into other time travel movies to understand, the basics of which line is being interfered with. You learn in Terminator, it's just one linear line, and someone just jumps back, and then like someone dies, so in the future they're dead. But I don't like it like in Terminator. You don't see all the consequences of killing this person. That's why I appreciate the Ashton Kutcher movie, Butterfly Effect. Because what you're seeing is him jumping, he changes something, and then you see the butterfly effect of those changes. So you see the repercussions, you see the consequences, or you see the reward. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what Abe and Aaron had to do. Just take themselves out of the equation and never, ever invent time travel. So I feel like it was the watered down. I don't want to say watered down because it wasn't watered down. I want to say the real version of Terminator. You got to go back and change something. You got to go back and change this. I mean, that's what ends up happening in the butterfly effect too. You just have to go back and nip it in the butt, the get-go. But that's what I thought was so captivating is all the lines were infinite. They kept going back. But what I liked about it is they were basically cloning themselves.
Yeah, they were cloning themselves.
So you could potentially have like 30 Abes just out there joking around. Could you imagine?
Yeah. How did you feel about
like Rick and Morty and shit?
Yeah, like Rick and Morty. And then Rick and Morty does have an episode about time travel, and it's loosely based on Terminator, where they go back, right? These snakes time travel, and they go back and like kill Hitler or something. I don't even know if we can say that, but they go back and kill someone, right? And but then you see in the episode, it's like, okay, the snake comes, and then another one comes, and another one comes, and it's just pure chaos because they're all coming at the same time, trying to stop each other from killing someone. Yeah. And so I like that episode of Rick and Morty because it kind of gives you a little bit more visual of how this infinite time travel could kind of get chaotic.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like time travel can never exist, because if someone time travels, right, like in Rick and Morty, do all of you make the same decision? So all of you jump, right? So what line are you actually affecting, your own or the whole universe? You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like time travel is just such a crazy concept.
Yeah, and I think they did an amazing, because I'm not a big fan of time travel, to be honest.
You said sci-fi and I got worried.
Yeah, I like sci-fi movies, but I'm not a big, it has to be done very well for me to like a time travel movie. And I think this movie was done very, very well.
Yeah, I'm going to just go off and say it. Like, I think this is the best time.
Wow, the best? Even better than Back to the Future?
Dude, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
That's on the list.
I've never seen it.
I think oh my God, this is going to be good.
Dude, the movies I watch are not like movies, you know? Like, everybody's just like, what the fuck?
This is going to be good. This
Dude,
is why the podcast is going to be good, because we're going to review
You think
some
you're going to run out
classics.
of movies and you're like, that one too? That one too? But yeah, I think Primer really broke it down on a scientific human level.
And you did mention about the timeline starting to change.
Mm-hmm.
That's one part that is a part that confuses me, because towards the end of the movie, I think Aaron gives Abe his headset. So
Yeah.
Abe puts on the headset and he's watching Aaron, but then you'll see that the voices change. Like what he's hearing isn't the same conversation that they're having. Even
Really?
Yeah,
I did not catch that.
yeah, that's the part confuses me too. But now it's starting to make sense, because there could be a number of timelines that's happening at the same time.
Or a number of changes that are happening at the same time.
Exactly. So in the scene, it's right after he was having issues writing.
Yeah.
He couldn't write. And then he has the headset on and he's watching Aaron, and then Aaron goes to shoot the basket. And in the original timeline, he makes it and the guy says, "Good shot." And then when Abe's watching it, and Aaron probably doesn't even realize it because he doesn't have the headset on, Abe's watching it, and then Aaron actually misses the basketball shot, and then the conversation goes completely different.
Really? Okay, so that's another layer I missed. Yeah. I'm telling you, the sound was so bad, dude. I had my speakers so loud. Marsha was like, "Come on, man!" I'm like, "I can't hear. I can't hear." Yeah. And I couldn't turn on subtitles. Dude, I was just struggling, man. I was struggling so hard watching this movie. Yeah. But man, I didn't catch that. But I mean, that brings in the theory that, you know, multiple changes are happening at the same time. So when they're going forward, you know how people would like hide in the hotel, how they would hide in the hotel?
Yeah.
Those people could be jumping back again.
Yeah.
Instead
We don't know.
of hiding.
Yeah.
And then changing it again. So they're going forward, but someone's changing it again. And I didn't see that on a YouTube video, that technically you could be jumping back multiple times.
Infinite number of times.
So let's just use numbers. Zeros could be jumping back while ones are going forward. And then the ones are like hearing things happen that didn't happen, because now the ones are jumping back. The zeros are disappeared now, but the twos are seeing something different. And changes just kept.
And then it grows like that. And then the twos go back and then makes it different for the threes, and the threes go back, makes it different for the fours. And it's just going constantly.
Dude, that's wild.
It's a loop. Yeah.
That is wild, man. But what was your favorite part of the movie?
My favorite part of the movie was, I would say it was the ending, the payoff.
Yeah.
Actually,
was there a payoff?
Oh, that's a good point. But my favorite part of the movie was watching Aaron in his black hoodie attacking himself.
Tussle with himself.
Yeah. You know, just being like the super villain. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Get him.
Yeah. Actually, if you think about it, like the villain does win. If you think Aaron's the villain, then he kind of wins at the end, because he's over there building his own time travel machine.
I think 100% Aaron won the movie.
Yeah.
Aaron understood there's no going back.
Yeah.
We've already done it.
Yeah.
It exists now. There's no going back. But I wanted to jump back real quick. Do you know why the theory of why their handwriting is bad?
Mm-mm.
You know, when they first try it with the little air gun thing, they're saying they put their hand over it and their hand jumped back. Not their bodies, their hand. So the hand is technically in the past, but they're writing in the future. So it can't sync up again. And that's where they're saying the handwriting is bad. That's why the handwriting was bad.
Yeah.
Because they let their hand jump, but not their whole body. And it only went back like a few seconds.
Yeah.
But every time they jump back now,
Yeah.
it's like doubling.
Gotcha.
Because
so it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, because the hand it's
Going
still in
further,
the past.
Yeah, further away.
Yeah, the hand is in the past, but now it's jumping back 3 times. So it's like a multiplicative, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's just getting worse times 2.
That makes sense.
But they could understand it, which is crazy. Dude,
There's no one understands.
they have their own
language.
little language, you know, which is crazy.
Yeah, I took the hand when I first saw it, or when I've seen it every time. I just took it as it's like a copy, like they were being duplicated. So that's why the right hand is writing like a left hand would. That's the way I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're like a mirror image of themselves, but in the past.
Okay. Yeah, or we kind of brought up the concept that they could be changing the past. So technically, like, the future isn't written.
Let's go.
I just thought of that right now because I kind of just thought of that concept.
Yeah.
That someone else is already jumping back. So the future isn't written, but they're writing. So they don't know what the future is. So they can't write it.
I know. I'm rocking with you.
Dude,
it could be the same thing with the ear, because Aaron has the earpiece, and when he travels back in time, he's bleeding out of one of his ears.
Well, the ear that he wears the earpiece.
That's right. So it could be that something's going on where it's affecting, maybe the sound is affecting his ear, and it's causing it to bleed out.
Yeah. There's a lot of consequences.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of the movie?
Dude, my favorite part was, it wasn't a part, it was a line where he's just like, I haven't eaten since later today. And he's basically saying like his future self's going to eat at this time and he's hungry. And I was like, dude, that's hilarious. Because they're living like, 36-hour days basically. So they know they're about to eat once they jump back. But he's hungry because they've jumped back. So he has to do the same day twice.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So he said,
that's why they're exhausted and hungry. And he even faints at the end when he did the long period back, try to stop everything with the fail-safe, and he goes to talk to Aaron.
Well, that's why he couldn't beat up himself. Yeah, because he was exhausted. he was so tired from
living 36-hour days minimum.
Yeah, and I thought that was just because no part of the movie is funny except for that line, and I was just like, and I caught the joke right when he said it the first time. I was like, what a goofball, dude. Like, but it just puts in perspective. Like they're living the same day twice.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I can mentally handle that for very long.
You start to get confused. That's why I like the movie, because they start to get confused. They don't know what's going on. Things are coming out of left field.
Yeah,
and then they figure out they're sabotaging themselves, and that's why I love the movie, because everything starts to get really confusing. Even that's why I love the aesthetics of the voices being all, you can't hear anything and things are cutting and you're like trying to pay attention, because that's how it feels. Like the whole concept's supposed to be feel confusing.
Realism, that realistic feel to it.
Yeah,
but overall, man, I thought it was a beautiful movie, man.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you watched it, because no one's seen Primer. Every time I tell people to watch Primer, no one's seen it.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to find.
How'd you find it?
A long time ago, I was, you get bored, and I was on the internet trying to look up like movies to recommend. And a lot of the times it's hit or misses, but this one was definitely a hit. Like someone said Primer, and I watched it, and I was like, oh God, I'm wasting my time. And then as soon as we saw the second Abe, I said, oh, hold on.
It hit for you at the same time too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, hold on, what is this? And then the more we went, the more I was paying attention. And I was like, oh, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely, the runtime is only 77 minutes. So you don't feel like you're in that movie for very long. So it's very rewatchable. I watched it 2 times, like back to back, because at first I watched it on TV and I couldn't hear. So I sat at my computer and I watched it again with headphones on. I was like, okay, but apparently I still miss things. Like, I mean, there's infinite things to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. It's really deep. It can go really, really deep.
Yeah, and you could tell it does have that cult following. Because I started researching and people were just theorizing after theory after theory. And I mean, this movie's 15, 17 years old.
How do you feel about the Sean doing the whole thing?
Incredibly talented. That guy's really talented. It sucks he doesn't make films anymore, but what can he do? Yeah. Do you know why he doesn't make them anymore?
No, Hollywood. Something happened in Hollywood.
Yeah, he got caught beating his ex-wives.
Don't lie.
I promise.
Oh, what happened? What happened?
I didn't want to research it too much because I didn't want to just bash him on this episode. But allegedly, he was caught for domestic assault on 2 ex-girlfriends. And he was just like, you know what? It's because, I'm in the limelight and people are accusing me of things. So he just stepped back, moved back to Dallas, where the movie was shot, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was shot in Dallas.
Oh, nice. He's a Texas boy.
Yeah. Well, he's originally from I think he was originally from the East Coast.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but yeah, he moved to Texas. He went to SFA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he moved to Dallas, and that's where they shot the film while he was in school. he had those 2 allegations, and he was like, you know what? I'm just going to be a software engineer.
He's a smart guy. Get out of the limelight. You did your dream project. You made your money.
Yeah.
And just go.
He still consults on movies. A lot of people just people say he just has a great grasp of the ethics and the concept of time travel, and they like the way he sees it. So he consults on a lot of movies. I was looking him up. Like I said, I kind of deep dived into Shane. I was like, God, this guy has to be like a multimillionaire. Dude made 2 movies and just dipped out.
What's the second movie? I didn't even know that.
It's called Once Upon a Time. Let me look it up.
Okay.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah. But that's awesome. Shane, I'm so happy for you. Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize the movie was shot in Dallas. Like the whole time I thought this was like in the Northeast somewhere, like in Boston or somewhere up there, like Chicago maybe, in the Midwest. I didn't realize it was actually in Dallas.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. I saw it and I was like, that's Texas. Like I knew it. I knew it. I don't know why I knew it. I just see Texas and I feel Texas. So he's from South Carolina.
All right.
He's from South Carolina. And what was the other question?
What was the second movie he made?
Oh yeah, what was the second movie? Let's see. Upstream Color. Yeah,
Is it a love story or what does it say anything?
I don't know. I was gonna say that could be one of our next movies. Maybe not too soon, but
Yeah, put it on the list.
I would definitely want to put it on the list for us because both movies won a lot of accolades. No like Oscars or anything like that, but really, really in the critics community and in the film community, he's a very respected guy. But like I said, he made his 2, got out, enjoyed what he did, loved what he created, and just kind of put it behind him. Put it on a resume. Like, how crazy does that look on a resume, Starred, director, wrote, scored, 2 movies.
To me, when I saw that, I said, holy moly. Because you know how difficult it is to do something all by yourself.
Unfortunately, it's very time consuming.
But for him to do this and do it very, very well, I mean,
The reward,
hats off.
the payoff has to feel good.
Yeah.
It has to, especially when you get good praise back. You're like,
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah,
Worth.
and it's people like us. We watched Primer, and then we tell our friends. So I feel like it's organic, right?
Yeah.
We're just sharing it organically, and it's not one of those things like you have to watch this movie. We just say, hey, if you're interested in watching a very, very good time travel movie,
Yeah.
this is the one I would recommend.
Well, I like how you set it up for me. I didn't know what it was going to be at all. You didn't give me any clues, nothing. And I just watched it, and I feel like that was the best way to sell me the movie. Yeah. Don't tell me anything at all.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you break that it's a time travel movie, the whole movie's downhill from there for you. Because you already missed the twist.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have no idea where it's going to go. Like, honestly, I thought they were going to make like this...
like a weapon or something, right?
A weapon.
Yeah.
And I thought they were just about to go on like this moral dilemma of killing a bunch of people. And I thought that's what the movie was going to be about. But I knew in the back of my head, sci-fi. I was like, where's the sci-fi part? Like, where is that then bang?
So I've seen a lot of like low budget movies.
Yeah.
I like independent movies because I feel like they have a lot of originality to it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them try to have a big payout like this, and it never works. This one worked. That's why I was like, wow, I love this film.
Yeah, Primer did it well. Yeah, by the way, I wanted to say, I like the fits, man. You and I texted each other saying we were going to dress up, and I think we did a pretty good job, man. I think it looks sick. I like how we had the same idea. I don't know what this movie did to me, but I was like, dude, I got to dress up. And then you texted me like, hey, I was going to dress up. I was like, oh, yes. The same frequency.
Everything. I like it.
Yeah, man. This episode, I felt like we really jumped around a lot. And typically, you know me, I kind of like to stay in a little chronological order. But I feel like we did this episode the same way the movie made us feel. It made your mind jump. It was trying to put... Because what you're learning at the beginning of the movie is technically the end. You know, you already see the movie ending. And that's what I wanted to make the audience feel like. Make them jump around like we jumped around, and we still don't know the answers. You know, I feel like this episode made us question more. And I hope our audience questions it too. You know, when they get a chance to watch it, they feel the same way.
Do you think this movie deserves a sequel?
No. Not because it wasn't good, because it was so good. You know, kind of just let it be it, you know.
Don't ruin the legacy.
Yeah. I mean, Shane believes thinks the same thing, or he would have done it by now. The movie came out in 2004. It's 20 years later. I think he's just letting the movie stand on its own because it does stand on its own. What I was shocked about is kind of the Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm really big in looking at Rotten Tomatoes. And so to compare it to some other ones, The Terminator has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Back to the Future, 96. Butterfly Effect. I thought it was kind of crazy. 34%.
34%.
I thought it was a great movie, by the way.
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, psi, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. That's a fraternity scene.
Yeah.
In the Butterfly Effect.
I do what you're doing. I was letting you do your thing.
Whenever he does the, when they do the alphabet.
Yeah.
I always race with them.
Steve was in the fraternity. 12 Monkeys, 88%.
12 Monkeys is a good movie.
It is, man. It is. Primer, 72%. And I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think that's accurate. It didn't throw every answer in your face like the other movies did, like Back to the Future, Terminator.
Yeah.
It explains it very, very detailed. Like, this is why we're doing it. This is how we're doing it. This is, it basically feeds you the answers. Primer does not do that. Primer, he left it very, very vague on purpose. And I think he wants his audience to have these discussions, have the questions, come up with their own theories. And I think Shane appreciates the complexities of time travel and understands there's not a right way to do it.
It kind of makes sense too if the movie was released in 2004 and the internet wasn't as prevalent as it is now with groups and forums discussing movies and going back and going, like we saw with the other lady when she broke it down in
London
animation.
City Girl. Yeah.
So it makes sense now that it would be scored so low because you have to take into account the time period.
Yeah.
So some people probably saw it and were like, well, I have no idea what's going on.
Watched it one time, was like, sucked.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I didn't really appreciate it until I started researching it. And that's when I really was just like, after I watched it, researched, then watched it again with like a whole new appreciation. Like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. But like I said, what never got figured out is why that party scene was so crucial. Because in the movie, you could basically write out a bunch of characters. They never mattered. What matters, Rachel's dad, Abe, and Aaron. That's it. Oh, and the ex-boyfriend, I guess. That's it. Those are the only characters in the movie. But what would you score it?
I think for me, in terms of time travel, is top 3. For sure.
Okay.
To me, it's always this one. I like Terminator 2 and Back to the Future, the first one.
Yeah. Okay.
Was there 2? Was there 2 Back to the Futures?
Dude, I think there's 3.
What happened in the second? Oh, was the second one where he almost disappears?
I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I've never seen it.
Well, so yeah, I would score this movie very, very high in terms of sci-fi. I'd score it high. The only thing that kind of hurts it is just it being low budget. Because I know if I struggle with listening to the sound and what's going on,
There's 3 Back to the Future.
there's 3 Back to the Future. I know the last one's a Western.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first 2 Back to the Futures, I like Terminator 2, and then I like me Terminator 2. That's when it ends.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch Salvation or everything else because it's like you said, it kind of ruined the legacy. So I'm kind of glad you pointed out not to have a sequel to this movie.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, Back to the Future, and Primer.
Okay.
Top 3 in
What do you scale
any
1 to
order.
10?
1 to 10, I would score this a 9.
9. Mm-hmm. I think that's your highest rating yet.
Yeah, maybe an 8.5. I do like other films compared to Primer. I think Primer is just a very
You're leave some room to grow.
yeah. Primer is unique, right?
Yeah.
It's it's a very unique film with it being independent, the story. So that's why I don't want to score it too high. But it is up there for me. So maybe an 8.5.
Yeah.
Nah, give me a 9.
9. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, that's okay.
And I give it to a 7 because of the sound and nothing. Okay, let me give 2 scores. The audio and the visuals, I appreciated the camera and what he was trying to do with the contrasting and stuff like that. I could see where the vision happened. Was it necessary? Maybe. I don't know. But it did give it this old feeling, like rustic, rough, rugged feeling. So, I'm going to stick with my 7. I'm happy with the 7. Primer, 7.
I gave it a 9. I appreciate your work. He had his little camera out there.
Yeah.
Filming it.
They said it was a 5-man crew, shot that whole
Everything.
movie. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you. This is are we doing the outros now? Or you want to pause and do the outros?
Yeah, we could do the outro. We appreciate y'all for joining this episode of Film and Frequencies. Please give us some feedback. We would love to hear what y'all think. Join our Discord channel. I'm trying to keep up with it. I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of it, so I want to pat myself. But what I really want to do is continue the conversation. I love talking about movies, and I'm sure Steve does too. So please join. Let's keep talking about it. Anything for you?
Yeah, join the Discord. Let us know if we're completely wrong, if we're idiots.
We can handle it.
We can handle it. Or if we're completely right and we're geniuses.
Did we solve it?
Did we solve it?
Well, we'll see y'all on the next episode of Film and Frequencies. Thank y'all.
Oh, what's the next movie?
Oh, yeah, the next movie. Burnt.
I've never seen. What's it about?
I don't want to.
Okay, when was it released?
I don't know. I haven't done my research yet.
It's just called Burnt. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Burnt?
Yeah, it has Bradley Cooper in it.
I've never seen. I can't even.
I'll throw it to you. Bradley Cooper is basically a burnt out chef.
Okay.
And
It's enough said. Okay, I got you. I'll watch it.
But it's good.
All right, Burnt.
I've seen it. I've never met anybody who's seen it. It's on Netflix.
Okay. All right, we'll watch
So we don't
Burnt.
have to. I need my subtitles.
Burnt it is.
Burnt it is. We'll see you all on the next one.